had to go back and change some of my ads that were wrong, that I really had no clue that they were wrong and they were not performing. And I think with just one small change, hopefully they'll perform a lot better. This was awesome. Really appreciative of his time today. I know it's a lot to teach this much information, and so just for him to set aside a day to really just give small business owners and entrepreneurs this knowledge to really help launch us has been amazing.
Thank you.
Load your pages up with social proof. The video would be number one. Right, as many video testimonials. That's what we want to give you guys today. I don't know what we'll do with them, but we just want to get them since you're here. But get as much social proof as possible. Again, with online, the kind of the important factor here, or you want to make someone as close to, what's the most powerful form of marketing? Word of mouth, right? Referral. So you want to make it as close to that as possible. And so the more you're providing authentic, real testimonials, success stories, social proof, things like that, the better your page is going to convert.
If anything, make it easier for us to understand. It's such a technical arena to begin with. So when we get in there, it's just hard, especially when you're starting from scratch. My feedback would be just keep doing what you're doing. Like, you're killing it on your end, and I absolutely appreciate you helping out somebody like me who thought they were doing great, and now I can do even better.
Then you're going to let that run. Typically it's about 12 hours, okay? And you're going to look at your CPA, so which just means cost per action. Your action could be a lead, your action could be a sell, application, whatever that action is. Look at that. So let's just say it's CPL, cost per lead. I will look at, after 12 hours, what audience is converting at the lowest CPA, and then I'll go to that ad and find that ad with the lowest one as well. And so the theory is that there's basically ad inventory. So you can go to Nordstrom Rack, buy a polo, it's $120. You can go to Target and buy one, it's $40. You can go to Walmart, buy the same one, they probably made in the same place for $20, right? And so if you use this method, you can basically find the least expensive ad inventory. Now this could be a high-end audience. That doesn't mean that this is, not a demographic that you want to target or something like that. It's just finding the lowest inventory within that audience. Does that make sense? No? Because that's good stuff right there. Take that with you.
So after a day, you choose which ad set.
If you put $100 in it, you'll see it at like 12 hours. At 12 hours, you'll be able to go, because you can look at your custom dashboard, which I'm going to show you how to set up. So you can look here and look at my costs, and then I go to my ad. And then that's what I'm leading on, killing this.
So they're lookalike audiences, but they're not the same audience, essentially.
No, they're all the same. So you're basically, I know this isn't really set up where everybody can see it, but if the algorithm is like based off the resources, it's split testing within itself, and no one knows exactly how this works, but it's this is all the lookalike 10%. We're just making it within that audience, like basically push more resources in there, and it's not going to show, it's going to show this ad to a grouping of people within that audience, this ad, this ad, this ad. So it's going to find the lowest ad inventory based off the action that you want within that audience as fast as possible. So you're just doing that to find that low ad inventory, turn off the other two audiences, turn off the other two ads. Now at that point, you want to go through what I talked about with scaling, right? So depending on what your budget is, you would scale up in 24 hours, 20%, so it'd be 120. Another day, another 20%, so 144. Then you can change it to like 500, so duplicate it, don't change it, duplicate it, and then 500 a day, whatever your budget is.
Okay, this may be a dumb question.
There's no dumb questions. So.
You're running 9 of the same ads to 3 different lookalike audiences that are essentially exactly the same.
They are exactly the same, not essentially.
Are your consumers going to see 9 of that ad, or is it intelligent to know that
Facebook will not show the same ad to the same person.
Okay. So they're not gonna get ad 1A from lookalike 10% 1 as well as ad
So again,
2B.
this won't, that's important to know though. That's why you want your audience size. Like JT can't do this for his local ads. Like 20,000 people in Hoover for 150, actually 150, that's not big enough. Like you need, really you need, again, like that 400,000 number, 2-3 million's great. You know, you could do it probably 200,000, but yeah, it's too much. You're going to put too much pressure on the algorithm if it's really small.
Yeah.
But if you have a big enough sampling, you can.
They won't.
Yeah, that's right.
So how big should your audience be to do this right here?
I would say minimum's 200,000, but like I would like it more like 400,000. This is more of a B2C.
Oh, okay.
Jeremy, it would be good for you to test out.
So would it be worth it for me to do like a lookalike audience in 3 of the same ads and then turn off the ads that aren't performing well, or is that just too much?
I don't think so.
Okay.
What I would do with you would be, I would do 3 different ads, same audience.
And see which one.
See which one's converting.
Yeah, that's what I've done.
Okay, so that's one way to target. So how I learned is kind of doesn't work anymore. They changed the algorithm, what it needs, what's necessary, but it'll still work. Like Kim, this could be something that you'd want to test. If JT wanted to run it, it would work. You can still definitely do this in local markets, but it will not, like I can't scale it. I can't run it for my national or global campaign.
He made everything seem simple. He just explained it really well. He knows what he's doing and he's very encouraging.
Cool there. Good.
Yeah, so I just want to make sure that I understand. So those 2 right there, Lululemon's and ad set, same demographics, the interest is just different.
Yeah.
And then
Only thing,
the same thing, you're putting it at $5.
Yep.
You're letting them roll. You're looking at which ones.
Yeah, and so the other one was what do we say? 12 hours, right? This one you're going to need at least like 3 days because it's just you're only going to have to spend like $15. Right. Could be like up to 5 days. So you could be completely in the red, and then by day 3 or day 4 it starts humming, and so like at that point it's converting really well. But you have to give it time.
So when you're doing this, you have your lookalike audience, your interest-based ad sets. You're sending them all to that same landing page, maybe?
Well, it depends. I mean, it depends what you're doing, what the offer is. Just really kind of depends on what you're doing.
Okay.
Yeah. But you could, yeah. We have clients that'll run multiple campaigns at the same time. So it might be different campaigns to different audience types, buyer types. Cody, what else would you add to targeting? Like this, we're pretty, like, things are pretty sophisticated, so we do a lot more than this, but you've got to have, again, I don't know, it's probably, for local stuff, I think I would stick there. I wouldn't get too complicated because it's gonna narrow your audience down just too much.
Just know what kind of customer it is you're trying to get. And I always work more off of demographics more than interest, but that's just me.
He's a rock star at targeting, like absolute rock star at targeting.
All the time when I do it, Corbitt's like, "Come on, man, we got to get that up." So I'm like, "Man, I'm trying to target down."
Yeah,
that's just.
So we fight, but it's like we end up in the middle. I mean, the portfolio stuff is crushing it. Like they're so stoked. Like I love when I stop hearing from clients that they're really bad or really good, but like in this scenario, that's good. Actually, it's great. So.
I know I love checking those KPIs.
I know. Yeah, and so we'll go in now. I mean, if your audience size is big enough, like we could have a lookalike 10% based off of buyer audience, and then on the interest side, which interests can include behaviors, they can include job title, they can include interests, a number of different factors. You can do you can exclude based off interests, right? So you can combo those a number of different ways. Good on a national level, local level, you just need to keep that audience size big enough.
targeting by zip codes has been helping us a lot more too with the local stuff.
Yeah.
Instead of just doing like, how we do a dot and like go out, and if you just go straight to the zip codes,
Yeah.
that's pretty effective.
Yeah. That's right. Okay.
When it's showing in reports like placement of how it's choosing like Facebook versus Instagram, like can you mold that at all, or like kind of determine what you're going to do the next time based on that? Because I know you can pick those, but can you pick percentages or like?
You can, yeah. So that's a look. I don't know. I'm going to kind of answer that in a roundabout way. We don't turn anything off. So once you turn an ad on and it's optimized, you don't want to touch it, right? And so I say that to say you can run ads at certain times, but the theory is that they'll never optimize like if you just ran them 24/7. Like it can be frustrating. I mean, we have campaigns running on the weekend, which are service businesses that aren't going to answer the phone, or they're not going to call on the weekends. But like, it's worth it to leave it on and maybe miss on the weekends so that it's optimized throughout the week. And so I said to say, anytime you're like, the more factors like that you're adding or starting and stopping, like you don't want to do that. And so typically like don't pause things. Don't like if you pause it, you're starting over. Like, you're going to duplicate and start over. Not the ad. You got to start the ad set level. Just duplicating the ad's not going to do what you need it to do.
But you can duplicate the ad set within the campaign without having to start over.
That's right.
I mean, if you mess up at the campaign level, then you have to start it all over.
Right.
But you can, and when you duplicate the ad set, I know this sounds
Because that's where you're setting your
stupid.
budget and everything.
Yeah, it automatically duplicates that ad, right?
That's right.
Okay.
And it's going to duplicate everything inside of it. So if you had 3 ads there,
It'll duplicate all 3.
right, even if you only want to run the 1, but the other 2 should be turned off. You turn those other 2 off.
Okay.
You just have the one that's live and push it through.
But placement rate is just the algorithm basically saying where you're getting more traffic and putting more.
Yeah. So you can look at when you go into.
Because I'm also trying to think, like I'm looking at a chart and I'm thinking for like content development, like everything where it puts it, well that should be feedback to me of where I should be putting stuff natively anyways.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, so you can look at a number of factors when it comes to your ads performance. They move these things around. You got a breakdown based on how they deliver. You've got a number of different filters here that you can run. So your ad set delivery. You can look at audience age, demographic. You can look at where they're like Instagram versus Facebook and placement. You can also look at if they're looking at you on a tablet and whatever the phones are that aren't iPhones people use these days. Anything like that. So you can look at that as what device, I guess. So a number of different things, like Chrome versus Safari.
I'm in the 10%.
Yeah, you can really dial it in. It's important to look at all that stuff for sure. And at the end of the day, goal, ROAS, like if they ain't broke, don't fix it. You got to get there too, but don't overthink it as well. So, okay. Let's see. So I want to show you guys how to set up your custom dashboard. This is how you manage everything that you do. So when you go into a campaign, you're able to see whether it's converting well or not. Kim, are you doing this? You are. You're so you're just crushing it. I love it. One thing, if you saw, I just toggled in my dates. I don't know why we're all jacked up. Like I wasn't even in the vicinity when we launched this campaign, but I can come here and I can look at a number of different metrics. These are the ones, so definitely write these down. I mean, this is what I look at. So you could remove, like results don't have to be there because we're gonna look at that over here, but reach, impressions, amount spent, relevant score, CTR, clicks, CPC all. Remember, we're including additional links in our copy, right? So if you just did, you could have cost per click on your ad and cost per click of the link. You want to look at all. And then your goals, right? And this could be, if you remember that Yes You Can, where they were purchasing, right? It was like add to cart, initiate checkout, purchase, right? This one is just webinar registration. It could be lead application, okay? But I would say all of these to here remain the same, and then your goals you add. And so what you do to customize your dashboard, you guys can all do this with me. You'll go to customize columns. Go ahead and remove most everything that's in there. Add these. So let's go ahead and do this. If you can go to Ads Manager. Add all the way through CPC all.
There's probably two things that I feel. One is complete overwhelm about how much I realized that I didn't know before, but then also really encouraged because I came away with not just some strategies or ideas, but some real actionable things that I can take and immediately apply to my business that I know are going to help it grow. So I'm fatigued but excited. I don't have any feedback for Corbitt. I thought it was fantastic. I thought he did a great job answering all of our questions, making sure that we stayed on pace with him, and I liked the intensity of it, the fact that we just packed as much as we could in, knowing that we're not going to remember everything, but I'm really grateful for the opportunity and so glad that we just got to be here and hear from his experience of all the different things that he's done.